going on, good people, man? It's your guy, Byron Scott, here with my guy, Cordero. And man, the first episode Against All Odds podcast that we're shooting right here, man. I'm excited about it, man. We're going to be talking about how you can achieve any goals that you set against any odds. You know, a lot of people, when they're trying to achieve goals, they think about, oh man, this in my way, that's in my way, that's in my way. Like, how do you get past all this stuff to reach goals? I know some of my goals was I wanted to be financial independent. I wanted financial independence. I wanted to invest in real estate for generational wealth. I wanted to, do a lot of different stuff. But it's like, man, I kept thinking this is in the way, that is in the way, that's in the way, that's in the way. And I was able to break through all those different things to reach my goals. And it was like, man, there's other people out here that's trying to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you can't hardly see the way to get to where you're trying to go. And it's tough. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to get this thing started, man. Talk about how you can achieve your goals, because I know I've achieved a lot of things I didn't think I could do. I know Cordero, probably seen a lot of the same.
Dog, absolutely. And I think that's an important part of the whole against all odds model, or just achieving goals in general. Is before you do it, you don't know that you're gonna do it. That's not a part of this entire process. Is like the journey isn't isn't knowing that it's doable, isn't knowing that you can do it or that you're the one to make it happen. It's about, and I say this all the time, people talk about business, but they fail to mention the fact that business often is a faith-based journey. And I don't, in spite of what you believe in, what religion you subscribe to, I just mean in general, it's you have to believe that it's possible before you know that it's possible. Like that's what I'm talking about. And then when you do it, you surprise yourself. You're like, wow. And then that's when you like level up, level up, level up, level up, and you go into the next level. But it's just like there is so many times where I was just like, man, I can't believe big, like getting your first deal, or then you kind of catch some wind and you get some momentum, and then you're like, man, I can't believe I just talked a seller down like 30K, $30,000 or $150,000, or like come like a huge jump. I can't believe I just got that seller to come down. I can't believe I did that. You know what I mean? Or I can't believe that I, made that transition, or, you know, did something that I always said I would do. Now I'm actually doing it. Now I'm standing in the midst of my dream. And so I, we got a lot to say about this whole concept, doing things, achieving goals against all odds. But you got to understand, wherever you at right now in your process, in your journey, is knowing that you can make it ain't a part of it. There's not going to be a guarantee. Nobody's going to come and say, hey, in 3 years, Byron, you're going to be Big Scott Trucking. You're going to be, REI next door. You're going to have all of this motion that you got going on here and there. That's not a part of it. And so going against all odds, there's going to be some times where the odds really going to be stacked against you. So it's going to be hard to even believe that it's possible, let alone to force yourself to do it in spite of the odds that are against you. Because the odds are very like the ability to actually win. That's like a faint, off in the distant, like it might be there, it might not be. It's like a mirage in the desert. But the odds, they be right there in your face all day long. They up close and personal. They real. You can touch them. You can reach out and touch them all day long. All your obstacles, they readily available to you. But the win, that's like off into the distance. So definitely a lot of stuff that I didn't think was possible, but we're doing it, and there's some more goals that we got for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think that kind of speaks to what you was talking about. It's like a lot of the things that you would say are excuses are like tangible. A lot of them, things that you can
Yeah.
see, things that like is real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, oh no, I can't do that because of this. Or I can't do that because of that. I can't do this because of this. Those
Yeah.
are things that you see. You know what I'm saying? And you
Exactly.
believe that you can't get X done because of all these things that you see. You know, I never saw, me quit my job. I couldn't see that. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't see myself making over $100,000 a year. I couldn't see that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Um, and now it's like I'm running two businesses that make over $100,000 a year. But it's like you can't see that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? But you can't see that stuff coming. It's hard to believe that you could do something like that. You know, but
Right.
it is easy to believe all these obstacles that you see are standing right there in your way. So it's like, how do you get over that? Like, how do you overcome the struggles that you have that's right in front of you? You know what I'm saying? And most people think, when they see these struggles, like, how do you get over it? They thinking, man, I'm gonna need, Cordero to come around and bless me with, to $10,000, or I'm gonna need Cordero to come through and teach me his magic way of making $20,000, or I'm gonna need another PPP to get out of this hole. You know, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
people be thinking that some kind of magic is gonna show up and get them out of their situation. You know what I'm saying?
Dog, for sure, for sure. Like, and and honestly, I think when you detach yourself from that, like there's some magic pill or there's some microwavable solution that'll clear out the odds and it just put all the odds in your favor, stack it up for you to win. There's gonna be a perfect time. There's gonna be a perfect situation that's gonna come about. There's gonna be this. It's gonna. Once you detach yourself from that, then you're also detaching yourself from the dependency on on your circumstances to line up. Because what you're doing while you're waiting on, man, I need this or I need that. I need him, her, them, they. I need the circumstances to switch. What you're doing, then you're realizing that you're telling yourself that me alone can't win. You know what I mean? It's like Cordero by himself isn't capable of winning. And that's not true. Or whoever you are, Steve, John, Ali. I know my guy Ali tuned in with us. Shout out.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like if Ali believes that he needs a PPP loan to win, then he doesn't realize that Ali, you got everything you need already. You know what I mean? And so when you detach yourself from this idea that the odds need to be in my favor, I need some magic pill, I need this. I just if this would just happen, if this would just happen. When you detach yourself from that, you realize you got everything that you need right now. And so I I think that's such an important thing because while you still waiting on that, when it come, you gonna realize that you need something. You're gonna find yourself needing something else, and then something else, and then something else, and then something else. It's just like, man, I need this, I need that. And so I think the benefit of it is you start to realize that you are everything, you already got everything you need, or you are what you need, and you just need to develop you. You don't need the perfect thing to happen to you. You don't need the perfect this or that or these certain. You just need to develop you and you spend time developing yourself. And then you'll realize that you, for example, and I always give this example. If 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 we were to sit down with let's pick somebody, Elon Musk. I always use Elon Musk. If we used to sit down with Elon Musk and just give him a rundown of wholesaling and just this is how you do it, this is what it looked like, how long do you think it would take him to implement that and just start making money off wholesaling?
Man, oh man, he be making money today.
He be making money yesterday. You know what I mean? Like he'd go crazy, but he would go crazy. And so
Why do you think the main reason he would be able to do that
exactly. My point is, it's because it's him. And I'm talking about even if he put zero of his already money that he's accumulated, he would just like, dog, just go figure it out from scratch. You can't, the challenge is kind of like the undercover billionaire or undercover millionaire model that Grant Cardone did. You can't use none of your own personal money. He would still go because he has developed him, right? And he is the he has developed his capacity to learn a new skill, implement a new skill, take action on it, and all of those things. He's realized that it's not any other circumstances, it's not any odds, it's him, and just make it happen. You know what I mean? And if you watch what he's doing, you'll notice, you'll see that like his entire life, like he's trying to do commercial space travel, interplanetary commercial travel. So the same way we can get a ticket to go to Miami, you can buy a ticket from Elon Musk to go to Mars. So you want to talk about odds stacked up against you. You know what I mean? And so because he's not concerned with the odds, he's just concerned about what his goals are, what his dreams are, and taking enough action to make them happen. That's him. It's not about what he has. Who he is got him what he has, not the other way around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, man. I just think that, like, you talk about, like, if we show Elon Musk what we do, and as far as wholesale real estate, that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, he be making money like yesterday because his actions, like he would do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not only do it, but he will also be thinking about more actions that he could take advantage, to take advantage of even more. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like, mentally you got to be willing to take action against the odds. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to see odds and then see action. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like that's what you got to see. You got to see odds and see action.
You got to see odds and then take action in spite of the
Yeah,
odds. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
so man, yeah, all the odds. You just got to be like, man, that's just an opportunity to take action. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You don't
Absolutely.
see odds, you see it as an opportunity.
Yeah, that's major. That's major. And speaking of things that you see, and faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I'm pretty sure that's biblical. I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
biblical.
yeah, yeah, that's in the Bible.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. Right. And that's such a heavy thing because that's why I always say business, in spite of nobody talks about it, business is a faith-based journey. And you don't got no evidence that it's possible, but you work anyway. And here's the kicker of what we're talking about when we bring Elon Musk into the picture is in spite of there's no evidence that you can win or succeed, you got to be able to take massive amounts of action. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
gotta, that's like if I say, hey, you see that cliff over there? It's an invisible bridge. But you only can use the bridge if you go in full speed. That's the only way that the bridge will actually work for you to get to the other side of that cliff, connect to the other cliff on the other side. But you got to go full speed. You can't half step. You can't tiptoe across the bridge. You can't inch across the bridge. You got to go full speed across. But it's invisible. But it's there though. Trust me. Take my word for it. That's what this whole thing is like. And so you got to not have no kind of evidence that it's possible for you, but have the faith to say, all right, I'm gonna go full speed though, because that's the distinguishing factor too. After we get over the fact that you got to be, this is all mindset that we're talking about when we're talking about defying the odds. But tactically, now we're talking about taking action in spite of the odds. Dog, you can't take a little bit of action. You're gonna have to be able to take a lot in
yeah,
spite of the odds too, though. Like what we saying is, dog, it's not gonna be no perfect scenario. If you got a baby mama that's tripping all the time, she not gonna pause that to put you in a position where you at peace and can go work. You got to go in spite of that. If you
yeah,
have a 9 to 5, there's not going. I don't know, dog. I don't think COVID gonna hit again to where everybody go ceasefire. We all going back to the crib. Nobody's going to work again. You're gonna have to keep going to work and still go full speed ahead towards the bridge. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you're gonna have to put the work in, regardless of, oh man, I got this going on, I got that going on. Keep going.
You,
Go
you,
anyway.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think that's one of the big things, man. It's like the things that stand in the way, you know,
Oh, dude, yeah,
the things that stand in the way, man, it kind of becomes the way. You know what I'm saying? You got to
yeah,
go 10 times harder at that thing. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's all about making yourself better. You know, when you see obstacles, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. It's all about improving yourself. I used to think that, like, man, I can't get involved in real estate until I get, you know, until I save up enough money or until I get
exactly.
this kind of credit score. It wasn't about that. It was
Yeah.
about me getting better as an individual. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
being able to think the right way. You know what I'm
More
saying?
resourceful.
Do what?
More resourceful as a
There you go. More resourceful, and my attitude toward what it was going to what was going to take to get started. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that was the thing. Like, I needed to get better. And a lot of people are like, you don't see that. You don't see that. You see your situation. Like I said, you see all the obstacles. You see what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
don't think, man, I just need to get myself better. You know what I'm saying? I just need to get better. You know, like somebody was asking me, like, I think we was getting ready to text people for our wholesaling thing, and they was like, hey, what's your goal over the next 30 days? I'm like, I just want to text 10,000 people a day. They was like,
Yeah.
oh, no, 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 no. Like, how many deals do you want? It's like, I'm not worried about that. Like, only thing I'm worried about is, can I text 10,000 people a day? If I text 10,000 people a day, the rest of it ain't gonna matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, I want to lose 50 pounds. I was telling my wife, it's like, I just need to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. If I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. I'm gonna get it done. I need to wake up at 5. That's it. That's all I need is to wake up at 5. Wake up at 5, it's a wrap. It's over. I'm gonna work out, and then I'm gonna make sure I, come up with an idea of what I'm gonna eat for the rest of the day. But I have to wake up at 5. If
Yeah.
I don't wake up at 5, then I don't work out. Then I don't have any idea what I'm gonna eat that day. If I ain't got no idea what I'm gonna eat, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, so it's like, dude, you just, it's the things, it's what it you gotta know that first step, and you gotta be able to attack a first step. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like, okay, the first step to getting a wholesale deal, is,
Talking to
maybe,
people.
you know what I'm saying? Like, my first step to getting to my goal of doing $100,000 consistently every month is texting 10,000 people.
Hmm. Yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like, I just gotta attack that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? The rest of the stuff, I ain't worried about attacking. I want to attack that. You see what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
I want to lose 50 pounds. It's like, I'm not sitting over here reading books about, health, this. I ain't looking up what's the best food for this. I need to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like,
Yeah.
let me attack the very first thing. Number one. Okay. The first thing on my list, the first thing I'm gonna need to do is wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The
Hmm.
rest of this stuff ain't gonna matter until I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I was reading books about real estate, listening to hundreds of podcasts about real estate, eating up everything I can eat up. I
Yeah.
did not identify what's the first thing I need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you identify the very, very first thing you need to do, it's like, I'm talking about waking up at 5. Like, the first thing I need to do to wake up at 5 is set my freaking alarm. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Just set the dang alarm. And
Yeah.
that's like troubleshoot. It's like, okay, I'm still not waking up at 5. Okay, this is saying wake up at 5 is not the first step. Okay, what's
Mhm.
the first step? Set the alarm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first step. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And if I don't set the first step, it's like, okay, then I got to figure out what's the very, very first step. Okay, pick up my phone and go into the clock app. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. And I
Like,
think what you're talking about is you're pointing out not necessarily like how to find the actual first thing, but it's the one thing.
yes,
It's
the one thing,
one thing that's
the one thing. But if you do that one thing,
exactly,
everything else become easier to get done. You know,
exactly. Because it's a
that is the concept. Jay Papasan and Gary Keller.
yeah, Gary Keller for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The
it's
one
the
thing.
one thing. And because that one thing becomes the catalyst or the instant, what Grant Cardone calls it, it instigates other situations. Like, for
Yeah,
example, before you start talking about how many deals you're going to close, if you text 10,000 people asking them about their property, other stuff, you just going to have to naturally that's going to get you into more conversations about a property. Then the next thing you know, you're going to find yourself responding to people, getting people offers because you text 10,000 people today. You're going to have to get somebody some offers. It's just
yeah,
like all of the stuff, all that other stuff is going to naturally fall into place. You don't have
yeah.
to take a course on it. You don't got to read a book about it. If you just talk to more people and
But if
actually,
but if you did need to take a course or read a book about it, then you will end up doing that because it would be necessary at that point.
yeah,
You know what I'm
at
saying?
that,
You know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah,
you may not even know how to write up a contract. But if you go out here and start reaching out to sellers, reaching out to buyers,
yeah, exactly.
like now that contract becomes knowing how to write up a contract becomes like something that you need it. And that's what
Exactly.
happened to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't know how to do a lot of stuff as far as wholesale real estate, getting people under contract, stuff like that. But I went out there and started talking to people, and then the paperwork became something that I just needed to know. You know what I'm saying? Because
Exactly.
people
Yeah,
was waiting
yeah,
on me to give it to them. So I went out there and I did, go watch a video or something like that. But I went sitting there like before that. I would sit there and just watch videos about how to fill them out, but I didn't need it. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't need it. You know,
It
but
wasn't because here's an important part about that I is you can read 1,000 books, but take action. Doing one deal, you're gonna learn way more from actually doing that deal than reading books about doing deals. Action is the greatest teacher
yeah,
at the end of the day. And in all that you learned, like when you was just learning to learn, you'll realize, dog, some of that stuff didn't matter. Some of that stuff does matter, but it won't ever compare to the action you take. And what Byron is saying is like when you get off into the process of taking action, off into the motion of actually already taking action, then if you learn it in that moment, it's that much more potent though. Like
yeah,
if I'm just sitting on the couch and I watch a video on how to fill out contracts, I'm like, dang, this is nice. This is real cool. But if I got somebody, a seller who's saying that they want to sell their house for this price, and a buyer who want to buy the house for a higher price, when I watch that video on how to fill out a contract while I'm actually filling out the real contract, that's a different education. That's a
yeah,
different mindset that you in at that point. And so action is going to be your greatest teacher, dog. And you won't have it mastered. You won't have it figured out no matter how many books you read until you actually do it. There's just something about learning about it on the job. There's wisdom rooted in your own experience. It's just like I could read all the books all day long, but I ain't never had no kid. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So I could theorize all day long with Byron. He could tell me, man, boy, you know what I'm saying, kid, you got to really be committed. You got to do this, you got to do that. But until I have a kid, it's not going to hit me because hearing him talk about it, I'm still not going to know what it's like to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning because the baby crying. I'm not going to know what that's like until I know what it's like. You don't know until you know. And so there's just something about actually taking the action that's going to teach you. So, yeah, I mean, I encourage people to go ahead and learn and educate yourself and be ready. We was talking about it the other day how Byron used to fill out the bigger pockets flip calculator. But when you started doing real flips, it's called theoretical versus actual. This is a scientific term that states we can put it on paper all day long. This is our theory of what it is. But when we actually do the experiment, what are the actual results? That's a scientific term that they put down and that they measure. Here was our theoretical, this was our hypothesis of what should happen. If we put this and this together, and then we put this and this together, here's what actually happened. And then they compare them. And that's the same thing with life in actually taking action in business. You can watch this video all day, but that's the theory of it. Actually, you might realize that, we could tell you, oh man, the seller might say this, might say that. They're going to argue with you, fight with you. You might have a lay down seller that just get on the phone. Of course, sure. You know what I'm saying? Woo, it's a breeze. Yeah, absolutely. I think Byron had one of them for his first deal. I had one for my first deal. It
Well,
was
then
like,
my seller didn't lay down on their first deal. It should have been a lay down, but I was fighting them. You know what I'm saying? They were laying down, and I was fighting. you know,
yeah.
they was like, "Hey, give me 60K," and I was like, "Nah, that don't work, man. I gotta have that 50K, otherwise it's no deal."
And then you found the right buyer, but you know what I mean?
Right
So,
buyer, it was a deal. Like they were willing to lay down, but it was like I was trying to fight it.
yeah. And you know something too that this makes me think about, also about the whole theoretical versus actual thing, is it was like what I was talking about the other day. When somebody gives you directions, if they can give you perfect directions, it's like, okay, go here. I'm a Byron. When you go to the store, I need you to grab the Reese's, not the regular pack of Reese's cups with the 2 Reese's in it. I need you to get the Reese's minis. I need you to get the Reese's minis. They should be, the regular pack is $2.49. The Reese's minis is gonna be like a bigger pack, and it's gonna be $3. All of that I said, he understood it. It was clear as day. But when he actually get to the store and he see the Reese's right here and the Reese's right there, it's a different. He was like, oh, this is what they was talking about. This is what he meant when he said get the Reese's over here versus the Reese's over here. And he gave me everything down to the, to the price. Like, oh, that one costs this much, that one costs this much, yada yada yada. But when you actually get there, it's just like, oh, okay. Because if he'd have just said get some Reese's, I'd have just grabbed the closest ones to me. But I gave you, specifics. And so it's like that, or directions when you finally get somewhere. And I was like, hey, go here, make this turn, make this. All of that sounds good. But when I get there, I'm like, oh, this is the turn he was talking about. You know what I mean?
But man, most people though, with their, with trying to achieve their goals, they never even get up to go to the store.
They never go to the store.
They never even try. Like, you know what I'm saying? People got a goal of reaching a certain point in their career, or, they work a job and they want to get to a certain position. I used to work with this guy. It's like, hey, he want to be, the county director of technology. You know what I'm saying? It's like, have you applied? You know what I'm saying? Have you put an application in for the job? You know what I'm saying? Nah, I ain't putting an application in. Then have you told anybody that you're interested? Have you told anybody that you're interested? Nah, I really ain't talking to anybody. It's like, you can't sit there and say you want something. You're not even taking a step to try to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there's people out there who want stuff. They're not even taking steps to try to get it. You know what they looking at? Nobody would hire me. Nobody's gonna, look at me. I wouldn't have a chance being able to do this and do that. Like, I thought that when it came to getting deals, wholesale and real estate, like, man, there's no way I can get started, man. This Max Maxwell got all the deals. Sean Terry got all the deals. It's too saturated. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have earnest money. Nobody's gonna take me serious. A million that I've been trying to do this for so long, and I still haven't done anything.
Yeah.
All the different things. I think you was pointing this out not too long ago. It's like talking yourself basically out of why you are not able to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like reasoning with yourself. Oh yeah, this is why I'm not gonna be able to do this. This is a good valid excuse right here why I can't do this or why I can't get this done. Instead of taking the necessary action and not like, dude, taking the necessary action ain't good enough. I told such and such that I wanted to be that, and they just said, oh, okay, and then you quit. You know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta take massive action. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go and apply to every one of those positions over and over and over and over, get in their face, get in their face, get in their face, get in their face.
Yeah, dude.
You gotta take massive action. You gotta go over and beyond. You gotta feel like you bugging. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yes, absolutely. Like you gotta feel like, hold on, I might go because you know what they're doing, and you striking a nerve because that's my number one thing to all of my friends and people around me. Obviously, I don't think a lot of them want to be off in business, but some of them they might say, "Well, I want to try this new job. I want to go out for this new position." I'm like, "All right, go ahead, try it." Well, I applied to one and I went to an interview and I didn't get the job, so I went back to my old job. What? They went to one interview, one job, one. That means that they might have sent three applications, went to one interview, and then they didn't get it, and that was the end of that. It's like what? What? I'm not even talking. You don't even have to be talking about business. But if you want a new job, if you want a promotion at the current job and you want to climb the corporate ladder, you may have to ask, hey, is this position open? Yeah, no, it's not open, not for you. Okay, what would I need to do to be considered for that position? You may need to ask several times until you feel like you bugging. Ask several times and then take initiative to represent the position already. This is what the position is, and start to go ahead and do some of the work for that position. Take on that initiative. So at that point, they ain't got no choice. They're like, man, you are a great fit for this position. But
Yeah.
it's like you have to be willing to put the work in. All I'm saying is, no matter what you're trying to do, it is most people greatly underestimate how much work it's gonna take to achieve their goal, no
Yeah.
matter what. And if you
Yeah.
look at some dude on TV and be like, "Man, I want some abs like him. I want to be chiseled and ripped," he ain't just go one workout and then go to McDonald's on the way back to the house and be like, "Whew, I am tired." And then was sore the next morning, was just like, well, I'm sore today, I can't go, and got that body. It took him years of consistent going hard, massive action, working out 2 times a day for years. That's what massive action looked like. Is it one workout, or is it just I just work out daily? That's just what I do, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to wrap your mind around that. And I think the biggest reason why people do that is because, and we talk about this all the time, whether it's talking to a seller or going for your dreams, don't prematurely value the outcome. Never prematurely value the outcome. I'm
What
so
do you
big
mean by that?
I'm so big on that because that's why we here. But what I mean to say, and I'll give you a narrowly focused example and then a broad example. The narrowly focused is when we're talking to sellers and we have like a meeting where we're discussing the deal or something like that, and we're like, man, we probably gonna need to get him down. I'm talking with the dispo manager. We probably gonna need to get him down about 20K. And I'll be thinking to myself, I gotta remind myself of this daily. I've been thinking, Dog, this dude is not about to come down 20K. He, he already didn't want us to be here at this price point, and I had to fight him to get here. He is not about to come, and I'll be like, hold on, stop, because you don't know if he's going to come down 20K.
Yeah.
Maybe something has happened since the last time you talked to him. Maybe he got some news that he is causing him that I just need to sell this thing. Who knows? It's a laundry list of things. Or maybe you just say it the right way and it makes sense to him to where he's like, you know what? 20K coming down. That's probably a reasonable. I'm ready to go. It surprised me time after time after time after time again. That's the whole reason why I'm here, is because I didn't prematurely value the outcome. And back to a more broader example is, you know what? I could have sat back and said, like Byron said, man, there ain't no way I can do this. Ain't no way I can wholesale. The market's oversaturated. It's just like, it's got enough people. It's like, it probably won't be enough deals. I'm too young. And that's me assuming that if I got in and I put the work in and I took massive action, for whatever reason, it just wouldn't work for me, but it will work for everybody else. That's prematurely valuing the outcome. But the thing is, you value it before you even take any action. You know what I mean? You say before you take a step forward, you say, this ain't gonna work out. You you ain't even, like you said, your homeboy, dog. Have you applied for the position? You talking about what ain't gonna happen, and you ain't even told nobody about it. You ain't even applied for the position, and then let alone, in order to actually get it, you probably gonna need to apply to 100 places to get 10 interviews to get the right job.
But what if I apply to 100 places and I don't get no results?
then
Then 10x your efforts. It's like-
1,000. But that's like tactically, that's what you need to do. But mentally, it's gonna boil down to you're gonna need to ask yourself, why did I even start this? Why do I? That's why you need to have. Everybody talks about this. I don't think that we're gonna be the first one, the first podcast to talk about your why, but you need to have some sort of reason that you're doing it. Like,
that's big. That's bigger. That's bigger than you.
there's this novel I read. I read a lot of books, but most of the books are business related. I only read like one or two books that don't have nothing to do with it. There's this one that's called "The Spook Who Sat by the Door" by some Greenlee, and it's a crazy book. It's like a novel written back in the '70s, and it is just a crazy, but it's a crazy novel. I won't spoil it, but there's like a crazy part in there where he's talking to this younger kid, and he's talking about what they're planning to do, and they're planning to commit acts of violence. And he's talking about what if you have to murder somebody? He said, "Well, why do you want to do this?" He's asking them, "Why would you want to do something like that if it came down to having to kill somebody?" He was just like, "Man, I just don't like them." And ultimately, is what the guy said. The kid said, he said, "Hate is not strong enough. You're gonna need something stronger than hate to keep you going. When a guy is right there, and you're gonna have to, really do it." And he was talking from it because the older gentleman was an experienced war veteran. And if you're going off to war, and if you're going to be off in the military, and if it gets to that point, you're gonna need something stronger than just "I hate them," because then at that point, that's gonna be a real human being in your face. That's a real person, and you got to make that decision. And that's like the heaviest one point. And so most people, when they go off to war, they're saying, "I'm fighting for my family, for my freedom and my family's freedom. I'm fighting for my kids, my wife back home." Most people in the military, a lot of them, they got like a picture in their hat or off in their boot or something, because it's not about hate and just anger. It's not something small and emotional. It's got to be something large, greater than what you're doing, that's going to keep you going, because you're going to run into an obstacle. You're going to run into the odds. They're there.
And they're gonna be
Every
standing
day.
against you. Then you're gonna feel like you can't get past.
They're always there, dog. And so you're going to have to be in a position where, in spite of the odds, something's got to keep you going. Something like, "I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't feel good, I got some terrible news," or "I'm fighting and I'm calling and I'm calling and I'm calling and I'm texting 10,000 people, but I still ain't got no deal. I still ain't got a deal. There is no deal." What's going to keep you going? It's got to be something greater than, "I just want to make some money. I just want to buy some Jordans." Because at some point, once you take enough blows, you keep getting hit in the face by Mike Tyson, you're not gonna be like, "Man, I just want to fight just to buy some shoes." Them shoes ain't gonna matter at some point. At some point, you're gonna be like, it's just logically, you're gonna reason with yourself and be like, "Dog, never mind the car I could buy. I'm tired of taking punishment. Forget
Yeah.
it." You know what I mean? It's like, forget all. So it's got to be something greater than just your why. Has to be something a lot greater than, "I just want to buy stuff. I just want to have a lot of money." It's got to be. You know what I mean? Too. But I want to say something, because I think you touched on a great point, and we kind of went over it, but I think it's big. When you talk about the obstacle being the way, it's like, how do you? Because when I was getting started, one of my biggest questions, I would wake up and I would ask myself every day, 10, 20 times throughout the day, right before I went to sleep, without even thinking about it. I would ask myself, I'm like, how do you get started? 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 That's all I ever asked myself when I was like 19. I'm just like, man, how does somebody? Yeah, I can see Grant Cardone. I can see Elon Musk. I can see Jeff Bezos. But what was before they was any of that? How do you make something out of nothing? How do you get that going? Because I can understand momentum when you already got some momentum going. And the obstacle is the way. I think that's a powerful thing, because how you get started. And then once you're in it, what's the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step is your fear will become a compass for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your fear is going to be what guides you and tells you what's your next step. Because it's going to be like, whatever you're the most scared of to do next, that's what you got to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? 'Cause most people, when they get started, their biggest fear is talking to people. Let's keep it real. when it comes to this business, when it comes to, I guess really any business, but let's talk about this business. Their biggest fear is TTP, talking to people. And they're like,
No
man,
doubt.
how do you talk to sellers? And I'm kind of scared to cold call because what if this happens and it just, that's what you need to be doing. Go talk to 10 times as many people as you might think you need to talk to. Go talk to a lot of people. And then when you get a deal, bro, you'll be scared for somebody to say yes. And I ain't never heard nobody talk about this. You could be talking to sellers, but you just like, okay, I just want to keep it here. Because if somebody actually say yes and they actually want to sell their house, then I got to figure out how to get a contract. And I don't know how to do that. Then I'm gonna have to figure out how to put it on the contract. And then what if I get sued? What if I put the contract in my name and then I can't find a buyer, I can't deliver it, and all of this happens. And so it's like whatever you most afraid of, that's where you need to be going. Your fear, especially getting that first deal, or when you're trying to achieve your goal the first time through, just that initial proof of concept round of going through this, is your fear is going to be your compass, and like how what drives you. And it does, for some people it's not necessarily fear, because once you get to that place where you like, man, I'm gonna forget it, you don't got to listen to our podcast, you made your mind up, you going against all odds. Fear isn't the next driver, it's the motivator. Now you looking for the next thing. Where's the next thing? I need to get that contract. You know what I'm saying? You might be in that stage, but I think there may come a time in your whole career or your goal path where fear or what you really don't want to do is what you need to do first. Or, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym. It's like, I don't want to do that. That's what you need to do.
That's what you need to do. Yeah, that obstacle is the way. By the way, it's a book by Ryan Holiday. We'll put it in the notes in the description.
Yeah.
But Ryan Holiday writes the book, The Obstacle is the Way, and that's a book that I read. When I was first trying to get started. It was before I even did a deal. Actually, in that book, The Obstacle is the Way. I actually got it. I think around here somewhere. Well, now this one is a different one by Ryan Holiday. This is a good book too. We'll probably talk about it on another one. Discipline is destiny. Woo, that's a beat right there. But the obstacle is the way, man. I like that book is crazy because it's like when you trying to do something, you always think about but this, but that, but this, but that. It's like you always think about the reason why you can't get this done or the reason why you can't get it done. It's like I always thought about like, man, I ain't got enough money to spend an extra $100 on this software or that software or that to get my business started. Well, not having that couple of $100 was the obstacle. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I needed. I needed the couple of $100. So I need to figure out, okay, how do I get a couple of extra $100? And that's when I started working at Papa John's delivering pizzas. It said, okay, that's the obstacle. Let me go in that path.
Yeah.
Let me get a couple of extra $100. Then we'll see what happens. You see what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I don't know how to work prop string. Let me go study how to work prop string. Boom. Then let's see what happens. You see what I'm saying? It's like going in the path of that obstacle. You see what I'm saying? It's like some people's like, oh, I should be in this position at my job, or oh, I want to be, in this position, or oh man, I deserve to be, the this, that, and the third in my company. It's like, okay, that is the path. Like, why aren't you that? Right?
Yeah.
You're not that. They just hire people that they know. Well, you need to get known. That is the path. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that is the path. You need to get known. It's like you need to go into the way, into the obstacle, right? A lot of people just in there talk about obstacle, all the reasons why they can't, instead of going straight into that. You see what I'm saying? People hit me up all the time about trying to get started in real estate. yeah, but I don't have the money to get started, or man, I'm down on my
Hey,
luck. I ain't
they
making all
saying
this much.
they saying I don't have no money, so I can't make money.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's like I hit a rough patch, or life is hard. It's like, dude, whatever your challenge is right now, you need to take that head on. You know what I'm saying? My relationship with self, my wife, I don't know if she'll get on board. You need to get, that means you need to attack that relationship. You know
Exactly.
what I'm
Right.
saying? You
Yeah.
need, it's not trying to just convince her just this. It's like you need to attack that relationship. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like it, the obstacle is the way. Whatever stands in the way becomes the way. Right? That's what Ryan Holiday says in his book. Whatever stands in the way becomes the way. The
Yeah.
obstacle is the way. Like that's
Because
the
whatever
direction you need to go in.
whatever odds that you're focusing on, that tells you what your next step is. Not whatever you're saying, this is why I can't do this. Sit down and ask yourself, why can't I accomplish my goals? Whatever answer you get, that's what your next step is. That's what you need to be doing.
And
That's
most
what
people ain't gonna be telling themselves the truth. You know what I'm saying? Most people won't tell themselves the truth. Nah, it's because of this. Or, oh, it's because of that. Nah, it really ain't. You know what I'm saying? Nah, them ain't real excuses. You know what I'm saying? Them the fake excuses.
them
You
is
know.
pretending. You got to be real with yourself. And I was just talking about this last night. That's a hurdle in and of itself. That we might need. Might even be a whole other video. It's just like the power, like it's difficult to be true to your just be completely honest with yourself because it stings first. But then after that, you open yourself up to the freedom to actually come up with the solution. But I say your fear is or your fear or just again it's sometimes it's not fear but your obstacle becomes
You're
your compass. Your excuses are your compass. It's not a GPS. It doesn't tell you, okay, go here and then make a left and make a right, but it's your compass that gives you general direction as far as it's your compass that gives you like general direction of where you need to be heading to. Like you said, if you were like, man, my wife won't get on board or whatever, then it's like maybe you need to start addressing that within y'all's relationship and ask yourself, why wouldn't my wife want us to succeed? Why wouldn't she want me to reach my goals? Why wouldn't she want me to be able to live my life in peace with myself?
and
And
I would say
then,
most times when people point at other people, it's usually you. You
yeah,
know,
like I
like
was saying last week when he was just like, I gotta get my wife on board. I was like, it probably means you need to get you on board
yeah.
more than anything. Because if you was completely sold, your wife would be.
And not even just like the fact that you don't believe, but it's I always put it on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, what part do I play in this?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? If I'm trying to talk to Cordero about, I don't know, getting a better camera so that we can have a better production state, what part do I play in this? What can I do better? You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
like,
What are your
I,
controllables?
huh?
What are your controllables? Not what
That's
you
what
can control. What can you control about this?
What exactly? What can I control in this situation?
Yeah,
What role am I playing that would make them not buy in? You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
And what can I do to to help this relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that's the biggest thing. Like that's what I started thinking about. It's like, what part do I play in this not going well, and what can I do to make this go better? You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And then
yeah.
focus on that. Not focusing on what other joker is and ain't doing. Everybody want to point at such and such, when such and such do this, when such and such do that. But when they give me my $30 back, oh well, this person right here borrowed $50 from me 3 months ago and never gave it back. That's why I can't do this. It's like, man, focus on what you need to be doing. What
Yeah.
can you do? How can you make this situation better? You know what I'm saying? I think that's what people don't look at themselves enough and say, hey, it's on me. And not just that it's on me, I could be wrong. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
It's like, what if I am wrong about what I'm thinking? You know what I'm saying? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm taking the wrong angle? You know what I'm saying? What if I'm approaching this wrong? Question yourself. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A lot of
And
times you're approaching stuff the wrong way because if Cordero want to go from being a millionaire to a billionaire, he can't keep thinking like a millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Mentally, you got to change it up. You
Yeah.
got to think different. You got to challenge what you're thinking. You want to go from being a 9 to 5 joker to being a non 9 to 5 joker. You can't use the same 9 to 5 thinking. It's like you got
Right.
to challenge that thought.
Yeah. And as an FYI to you guys, I'm not a millionaire, but to his point is if you get what you deserve out of life. If I'm not, it's because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing to to be a millionaire, right?
I
And
don't say you get what you deserve. I would say you get what you demand, what you truly,
yeah,
what
like
your actions demand. You
what you
get what actions demand. It's like
yeah,
what
for
you're
sure.
acting on is what you're gonna get. So,
Exactly.
like Eric Thomas said, don't be upset about results you didn't get
Yeah.
because you didn't put into action. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't taking action, you can't be mad about results. If I don't hit the gym, if I don't wake up at 5 o'clock, if I don't eat right, I can't step on the scale and be like, man, I ain't never losing no weight. You
Man,
know what I'm saying?
if it wasn't for these kids, I could. If it wasn't for if it
Yeah,
wasn't for that, man, just because I got the business, I got to do the
yeah,
business.
yeah.
Blah
Like
blah
excuses,
blah blah
excuses,
blah.
excuses.
And because those things are readily available, it's easier for him to reach out and touch the kids and all of these excuses. But the chiseled 6-pack abs, that's off into the distance. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like
And of course, it's never your fault.
it's it never is, man. It's just never.
It's me. It really is me. It's like, you know
And I
what I'm saying?
think that that's
It's
such a
you.
it ain't because again, that's what I was talking about at the beginning of this. Once you let go of that concept that it's the odds, it's that, or I'm waiting on this to happen, or if that would just change, or if that would just change, then you open yourself up to two immediate things. Well, not immediately, but one thing immediately is going to happen is one, you're going to be like, dang, you're going to feel bad. Period. You're going to feel trash because I was talking about this last night, right? So you gotta be willing. How would it sound like if I say my breath stink? You know what, dog? It's me. My breath stink. I'm starting to act like they all these girls I'm trying to talk to got attitude problems, but in reality, my breath stinks. And then you're gonna feel like, dang, how could it like I got poor hygiene, me of all people. Like you're gonna have to deal with that immediate, let that sink in. And then now you have freed yourself to open yourself up. Okay, what's the solution? Now I'm brushing multiple times a day, 2 and 3 times a day. Now I'm flossing. I went to go get some floss. Now I got some mouthwash and I'm gargling and I'm being consistent with doing this. Now my breath don't stink no more. But if I never point to me, if I never just pause and say my breath stink and I'm always acting like it's them, data problem, it's them, then I never take the time out to actually fix it because I haven't freed myself yet. I'm still living with a veil over my eyes. I'm still living in delusion. I'll never I'll never take the time out to 10x my cold call. I'll never take the time out if I don't realize, dog, the reason why you ain't reach your goals is because you don't call enough. I'll never reach my goals and I'll never put the necessary steps in place until I realize, dog, you're not good with your follow-up. You don't follow up well or whatever it is. It's just like I'll never reach these goals. It's like, man, I want to be super ripped too, honestly. I want to have 6-pack, I want to have a 10-pack. I want to be built like Michael B. Jordan and Creed 2. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like I ain't gonna get that if I'm not eating right. It's like, dude, you don't eat right. And then that's the harsh reality. That's the immediate thing that you run into. That's why it's easier to blame the odds because the only thing you either blame your odds or blame you. That's the only two options you got when life ain't giving you what you feel like you deserve. When you don't got everything that you feel like you desire out of life and you look around and it's just like life ain't giving you what you feel like you deserve. It's like I can either blame life or blame me, but you can't control what happens to you. You can't control nobody else. You can't control your partner. You can't control nobody else. It's you. You was born in this world alone. You're gonna die alone, dog.
Yeah.
And it's just you. And so
And
you live
your actions, man. It's on you.
you living alone in spite of being having a partner. It's just you though. Cause that like there's just some things that your spouse, even if y'all been married for 30, 40 years, there's some places that they can't go with you. There's some decisions that they can't make for you. It's some actions and some steps that you got to take that nobody else can take for you. It never.
The thing is, it's like even if you got other people around you, it's like, are you setting the temperature?
Yeah.
Or are you becoming the average? Or are you becoming the temperature that's already around
you? Yeah, the unreasonable man. The unreasonable man.
Yeah,
I like that.
Are you just being are you stepping in the room and you just becoming the average of what's in the room? Or are you setting that temperature? You see what I'm saying? You're like, man, I want my wife to buy in. It's like, are you setting that temperature? You know what I'm saying? If you setting the right temperature, then the people around you is gonna become that temperature. You know what I'm saying? If you go into that room and set that temperature, and especially as a dude in your house, you set that temperature, everybody in that house gonna go to that temperature. You know what I'm saying? This is the way it's gonna be. You gotta set the temperature, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta set the temperature. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think to Byron's point is if you can feel confident in blaming other people for your situation, then just think about how much you affect the people that you're around. You know what I mean? And I know it's not real, but your odds do play a role. Your environment does play a role on a lot of things. But we're talking about going hard in spite of the odds.
Yeah, we going against the odds.
Yeah, we going against the odds and whatever the temperature is set. But just don't forget, it's like if you believe that, then you understand that some people let the odds determine where they're gonna go by the roll of the dice. Then don't underestimate the role that you play. So if you come into the office every day and you like, man, I'm gonna kill it, rain, sleet, or snow, then that's gonna you're gonna start to rub off on people. People gonna be like, man, he gonna kill it every day, and he's killing it right now, so it's possible. So I'm saying, like, I guess that's the plus. We getting off on that note. Before we get there, though, I want to say the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. And I think that was George Bernard Shaw. I think so. And to the point being, what Byron was talking about, setting the temperature is just like you can, whether you're talking about the temperature of the house, the household, the environment that you grew up in, the world, the city, whatever. You can either let all of the odds and all of the circumstances dictate who you are and what you'll get out of life, or you can say, in spite of that, like Byron said earlier, you got to look at yourself like, dog, you got to go hard to the point where you feel like you tripping, because that's what it's going to be like. Say, nah, I don't like this. This ain't what I feel like I should get out of life, and go in the opposite direction, full send in the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? And I always give the example because, with all due respect to everybody, but I talk to like some people that, us living here in the States, it's a lot of foreigners who come over here, and I was like, I love to learn about people's culture. I'm like, what's it like over there? What made you want to come here? Because I ain't never been outside of the U.S. They're always just like, man, it was just rough. It was rough growing up where I came from. And so we wanted to come here and experience a better life here in the U.S. And it was crazy there. And I'm like, yeah, no, absolutely. And I always ask, well, not always, but some people, if I know them personally, I'm like, well, why don't you try to improve the condition in your country? Why not try to like change things there? They're like, nah, you don't understand. And I don't understand, by the way. They're like, nah, you don't understand. They're killing people over there. Like, you can die over there if you try to speak out. It's crazy over there. I'm like, oh, so you mean like Martin Luther King, or like Malcolm X, or like, Fred or any other person in this country that stood up in spite of the odds and that pushed the country forward progressively so that more people want to come over here. They leave their country and they come over here. But you don't realize at one point there was no equality here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What fountain was you gonna drink from when it was whites only and colors only? You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like there was no. All I'm saying is at one point in time in this country, it wasn't always what it is today. It took many unreasonable men that looked around and said, "Dog, I don't agree. I'm not standing for this. This is
Yeah.
what it is now, but I'm going to be unreasonable with now because there's something better in the future." And so that was the forward progress of our country. Now, because I'm not saying go out and die, but you know what I'm saying, you got to be willing to fight for what you believe in. I can at least say that. And if
Yeah.
you're going to go against all odds, you got to really be going against the odds at times. But
Yeah.
no, all I am saying is if we pay attention to what the foundation of, and this is just a small glimpse into human history, because there's so many cases where us humans defy the odds to get to where we're at today. But if we pay attention to the civil rights movement, they opened up the door for all that we have in America now. Now it's a big melting pot when before it was whites only and coloreds only. And those
Yeah.
are because many unreasonable men and women decide to fight. So when you make this stand to go against the odds, when you decide to go after your goals, you don't just think that you're going to be the only one who benefit too, because you're going to be able to put other people in position. You're going to be able to help other people win in spite of everything that. So going against the odds is a lot more than just you winning for the sake of you. So when you make up your mind to say, I'm not gonna blame nobody else. I'm gonna only focus, be introspective, and be self-aware. And I'm gonna be real with myself and fix the things so that way I can grow. You're gonna help other people down the line that you might not even thought of is gonna benefit. I can guarantee like it just happens that way because we do. It's like before there was planes, they was like humans can't fly. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure the Wright brothers were considered unreasonable with their efforts to for us to fly
Yeah.
before there was electricity. I'm sure Thomas Edison trying what was it Thomas Edison, and he tried like 1,000 times to get the patent for the light bulb, I think is what it was. But before that, I'm sure he was considered unreasonable to think, dog, you think we about to like light our houses with electricity?
Yeah.
That's you're crazy, dude. The odds are stacked against you. That's not a real thing. Now look at us. Now
Same.
somehow Byron's in Atlanta, I'm in Nashville, roughly, and we face to face. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like, don't think about the odds. Just realize that everything that you got right now was from some guy or group of people who was just like, man, I don't care the way things are now. What odds are stacked against me? I'm gonna go anyway, and now the whole world benefit from them going forward. Think about that.
But that's the thing, man. You want your dreams to come to reality, you gotta go against the odds, man. You know what I'm saying?
You have to.
People that just go through and usually just go about their business and never go against the odds, those are people that usually don't make their dreams a reality. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They just go and be careful and live their little life. But the things that they really wanted to do, the things that they really wanted to become, they never reached that. You know what I'm saying? Because like what Errol was saying, they're being the reasonable man. Well, let me
Yeah.
just go over here and work this job and let me just, you just keep letting me just. You know, you never go against the odds and demand your success. You know what I'm saying? Grant Cardone talk about seeing success as an obligation, as a duty, as something that you were born to get to that spot. You know what I'm saying? So I say that, and I thought about this earlier when you was talking. It's like, everybody, and when you talk about surrounding yourself with right people around you, everybody that you talk to day is like, and you too, either bringing out the best in people or you bringing out the worst. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna get better every day you're gonna get worse. My football coach used to say this. Like he used to say, look, we get better every day or we get worse every day. We don't stay the same.
Yeah.
You get better every day or you get worse every day. You do not remain the same. people around you, they're gonna help make you better, or they're gonna help make you worse. They either pulling you up or they dragging you down. It's like that's just the way it is, man. And you gotta surround yourself with people that's gonna help you get to where you're trying to get. And you yourself have got to look at you and say, hey, am I getting better or am I getting worse? What do I need to do to make myself better? What I need to stop doing to that's making me worse?
Absolutely. No, absolutely, man. No, I think nothing make me madder than people who just follow rules for no reason. It's like they
Yeah.
just do like, and I like respect the rules that are put in place, and like in general, follow the law. Don't break the law, y'all. But when when it's got somebody, I'm like, why are you doing that? That's just what you do. That's just what people do. When people say that, that just gets under my skin. When they say that's just what people do, I'm like, bro, you're basing major points of your life and your story is based around that's just what people do. That's just the way things are. You know how it is. You know how the world is. Blah blah blah. Dog, cut it. How do you want it to be? Because how the world is, it was because somebody came before you and determined that it was going to be this way. And it wasn't easy for them to get it this way. And it was a lot of fighting and a lot of pushing and challenging. But when people just accept things for what they are, like there's been so many times where I'll do something and people be like, wait, you can't do that. I'm like, well, why not? And they be like, well, you just people just don't, they just don't, that just doesn't get done. I'm like, no, you can't do that because you don't believe, because you don't have that capacity to look outside of the odds, outside of what's right now, outside of this, and think greater for forward progression, to be unreasonable and think out, you know what I'm saying? And it's almost like an IQ test when it comes to doing this. Do you have the IQ to think outside of your limitations? Man, I grew up, man, my mama worked here, my dad, he always worked here, and this is, or maybe you didn't even have a dad. And so it's just like, are you, does that mean if you have kids, are you gonna be in their life or you're not gonna be? You're not gonna be in their life just because that's how you grew up? It's like, nah, think outside the box. I really the work. My least favorite thing is people not really asking themselves why did they do something or why this or why that, and they're just more focused on um this is the way it always is. That means you just looked around and was just like, okay, what I see in front of me immediately is what's reality and what's possible. And you didn't think past that. And I don't think that you would be doing any of us a service. And if you're listening to this, the against all odds is just like, dog, don't look at the odds and think of that as your limitation. It's like an obstacle course. Don't look at the obstacle and stop. In an obstacle course, the challenge of the course is to go through the course. That's the point of an obstacle course, is to go over the obstacles or under or around the obstacles or swing through the obstacles. It's not to get to the obstacle and stop. And so, don't let those things define you, bro. Just keep going, keep moving forward at all times.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Shoot, man, we've been going at it for an hour, man. I think we went in today, man. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. And I appreciate all y'all coming through and supporting, man. Um, if you could, man, just leave us like a rating or review or comment below. Let us know what you think, what you want us to talk about. We're gonna definitely be focused on, achieving your goals through business, through life. A lot of people have different goals, you know what I'm saying? And just achieving your goals, like, and I've seen this a lot too. It's like your ability to achieve one goal affects your ability to achieve another goal. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Y'all always say that. How you do one thing is usually how you do everything else. It's like
Yeah,
the mindset you apply to it is just what you're going.
yeah. You apply this to that, like the same mindset to different stuff. So, like, just if we can teach people how to control, we can teach people how to think better. That's what I was talking about. I had to become a better person, and then boom, my business followed. You know what I'm saying? It's because my thinking got better. So I definitely wanted to make this against all odds to help people get in the mindset of going from being a regular 9 to 5 joker to going against all the odds to achieve whatever it is you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you want to be something at your business. Maybe you want to change, the relationship that you're in. Or maybe you want to change your physical appearance. Maybe you want to, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, is that goal setting and achieving the goals that's going to end up leading you to success, whatever you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's the fight that we all on. You know what I'm saying? It's life struggle to learn how to overcome obstacles and achieve. You know what I'm saying? So,
consistently to do all that consistently.
yeah, no doubt, man. So, but shoot, man, let's do some shout outs, man. Shout out to James. He said, talk about momentum.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no doubt, James. Shout out to James, man. James also said, launch show. We can talk about that tomorrow when we,
He was asking this is
oh, okay.
the
Go
balance
ahead.
between working, working your 9 to 5, being at your job, being at school, and doing launch control or sending out texts. Which honestly, I really love those stories too. How you talk about like how you kind of were just like doing it all at once. You know what I mean? I think that's
Yeah, man. I think somebody talked about that. It's like for stretching your life, you need to work way harder.
yeah,
You ever work. It's like you can work for 5 years. Like I said, shoot, I made more in 1 year than I did 12 years of teaching. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
like, okay, I guarantee you, over the next over 3 years, I can make more money than I was gonna make my whole teaching career. I was gonna teach for 30 years. I can make that money in 3 years. You see what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
like someone you gotta hit it so hard for a stretch, and then boom, it could bust wide open. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You work so hard and boom, that thing pop wide open. Now it's like I'm walking kids to school.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
with my kids, I'm at
No,
all day, I'm at all day events, I'm at all day little stuff, I'm fixing them lunch, I'm hanging, you know what I'm saying? We sitting there chilling, watching movies in the middle of the day. It's like I'm sitting on
yeah,
the couch and more eating cornflakes with them. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's I couldn't do that before. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And even when I would come home, like I would be doing stuff. Maybe I gotta, on the weekend, maybe I gotta go out to a property. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's like, but I'm gonna go hard these certain years to where that thing gonna bust wide open. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Now I'm able
yeah.
to live more life on my own terms. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we can definitely
Now
hit
that's
it.
good. We need to talk about that. I think we need to have a whole video on that because that's what is it like space velocity, the velocity to get into space, rocket something like that, the velocity to get into space, basically. For that's why when you see a rocket take off, it got those big rocket thrusters, those that just when it's
Yeah,
going up in the beginning, because it's got to break through the atmosphere. It's got to have the velocity to break through the atmosphere. But after it does that, those things fall off. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like those things fall away, and it's a different It's like you got to get the momentum started to actually break through. But then once you do it, it's a different guy. But like that stretch where you got to hustle, we're gonna talk. We got to talk about that on the next Against Our Lives show for sure, for
yeah,
sure,
for
for
sure,
sure.
man. Appreciate that, James, man.
But
Ali, shout out to Ali, man.
shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
all.
Joe for sure. Ali said, I need to hear this, man. Like, just,
I needed to hear this, man. Life just been hitting me, losing my grandpa to cancer. Oh no. Then my job, then a bad car accident back to back. I reminded myself of my why every day to keep pushing to overcome it all. Boy, Ali, man. Nah. So crazy that you say that, Ali, man. I like over the past, well, since COVID, okay, since COVID, obviously a lot of things happened to a lot of people. The world just went crazy. But I too lost my grandmother to cancer. And I'm sorry for your loss. And I didn't, I was already out of my job or whatever, but I got into a car accident as well. And just a number of other things just started to happen. It's just like, and I know, dude, it's like sometimes in life, it's not a punch, it's not a hit, that you take that puts you on your back, that puts you on the canvas. It's a combo that puts you on your back. that puts you on the canvas. It's a series of punches. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not just a 1, 2. It's just that back to back to back to back that just puts you down. And it's just like, because you took so many hits, it's just like, dude, at some, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but at some point you like, dog, I don't want to get hit again. It's like you get put on your back, and it's just like, I'm not saying that you got just lose all win, but I could really stop the momentum that you got when losses just keep hitting you, hitting you, hitting you. It can make you feel like, dang, if I stand up, I might get hit again. Because it condition you, loss after loss after loss after loss, L after L. You thinking all you looking for is the next L. It's like your mind get caught into that phase where you like, dog, things just keep happening. I don't know. But what I will say is this, Ali, is like, in that period of my life when L after L after L, first of all, I learned the most about myself. And as a subsequent action of that, it's just like, I gained so much like personal development. It's just like when you get put, it's like there's just something about when you get put on your back. It's something about when you get put on the canvas, especially after that 1-2 punch, that combo that just really rock you and put you on your back, or just put you in a tough spot in life where it's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's something about that place in your life that you really get a true paradigm shift. Who knows? Maybe you was going hard and you was getting some momentum and you was about to get it, but it's just like you was doing it the wrong way, or you was going about it the wrong way. And you got all of this came to you, and now it's going to help you kind of reset and rethink. Now more than ever, you're going to get in touch with your why. You thought you had a why before, but this is the time where your why really gets strengthened and reinforced. Because if you're reminding yourself of your why every day, you probably wasn't doing that before. You had it, and it was on the back of your dome, and it was just something that you kind of kept in your back pocket, and you move forward with it. But now your why is getting reinforced in you every day. So if you choose to, should you choose to get up off the canvas, should you choose to, against all odds, stand back up again and fight after taking a loss, after losing a close family member. And I don't know about you, like my grandmama, it wasn't no, we going to see grandmama on the vacations, like we're going to grandma's house. Nah, like she was an influential part of my life, a daily part. Like that's, this is some of my knickknacks from my grandmother. I got like pictures. I don't got a lot of pictures in the house, but I got pictures of my grandmother, and that's it. My grandmother was very important to my life. And so losing her was a big loss. And then car accident, a lot of stuff happened. That time reinforced a lot for me. And so when you take these L's, when these odds come up, and sometimes the odds can be more overwhelming than they have been thus far, like right now. This is a perfect time for you to just be like, okay, first of all, I'm going to reinforce everything. And if you choose to get up against all the odds, this level of strength, this standing up at this moment, from this point, what can stop you? If you stand up now and you win now against these odds that are up against you now, what's going to stop you? What could happen to you that's going to be worse than this combo? I mean, God forbid that you really challenge that, because life can, life can always be crazier than it is. But I'm just saying, it's just like, I got that combo and it put me on my back, dog. And I just had to keep fighting. And I'm just like, hold on, I learned so much about why I'm actually doing this. And it wasn't originally what I thought it was. It wasn't originally what I thought it was. Actually, a moment like this, my why evolved. I'm not going to say it just changed, but it evolved into something different, into something greater. And it was stronger. So therefore, my hustle, my grind, the work that I put in was different. It coming from a different place. It's like, and especially when I already had, like James was talking about, I already had momentum. And to just get hit with so much stuff was like, I thought you break through and you gone. But then stuff can still happen to you. And so it's like, dog, don't throw this moment away. Don't let this moment slip past you. When the odds get way, way too overwhelming, you ain't got just like when you hit rock bottom, you can go up from here. But if you come up from here, it's a different level of success. It's a different type of win when you come up from this moment, when you choose to fight out of this. So shout out to Ali, man. I know what it's like, dog. I know what it's like, man. Just keep fighting. I'm sure, I'm sure you got I'm sure you got what it takes, but now you about to know that you got what it takes. But yo, Byron, I think Byron's out of here, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, dog. Against all odds. Byron, can you hear me? Yeah, yeah. All right. Against all odds, keep fighting, keep going, because the odds will never be in your favor. And when you win against all odds, there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you from that point. So shout out to everybody. You know, we're gonna do more of this
Yeah,
because we
shout out to
understand.
everybody, man.
Yeah, it's not just tactics, it's also mindset that
Yep.
make major difference. So for sure. Appreciate everybody, Byron.
Peace out, man. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. My guy Cordero holding it down. Hey, and this is gonna be available on podcast too, man. So y'all go
Yeah.
download it, man. And we coming every Monday, every week. We gonna hit them with it. So man, be on the lookout, man. Go ahead and go over there and review and subscribe and all that good stuff, man. But until tomorrow, we gonna be on real estate stuff, man. But until then, peace out.
Peace out.